Hey guys, I'm really gonna try to make this quick today. I know I always say that, but let's let's get it done. I just was kind of chatting about this a little bit in my mental health group, and I wanted to come talk to you guys about it because I think it really applies to business, and it really applies to like all areas of our life. But when I think about my business, this really applies, and it's kind of random because it's about the hurricane and it's a little dark, so bear with me. So you guys know I live in Florida. There's a big, like pretty massive hurricane. It's just sitting there kind of like gently threatening us. We don't know where it's gonna go. Like they have an idea, but they don't know where it's gonna go. Yeah, we're still pretty far out. So, you know, they have the potential idea where it could go, but they don't know where it's actually gonna go, right? So right now it's just kind of sitting there hanging out like, oh, something bad might happen. Like something bad might be happening. You're like, great, let's just wait a couple days and see if it happens. And here's the thing is like, I'm inland right now. A lot of my family is here because they're coming from the coast and coming to my house, which is like an hour and a half from the coast. So it's pretty safe where I am, but they're not safe where they are. And, you know, they're packing up and leaving their houses, taking their things, like thinking their houses might flood and they might not be able to have a house to go back to, right? They might have to rebuild and all that kinds of stuff. And so it's a real like preparing for the worst, hoping for the best scenario. But this is the thing, is like my brain has been running wild about all the worst case scenarios that could happen, all the people I know that could be losing houses, the place where I lived and spent a lot of my life is like, you know, very likely going to flood and like all these bad things are going to happen. But this is the thing, and your brain will run wild in business, right? My brain does this in business all the time, and it sounds like a dramatic analogy, but it's the same, right? Our brain kind of goes through life the same, right? Your brain will tell you, you know, be afraid, there's a hurricane coming, bad things are going to happen, this is going to happen. You know, your brain will tell you, don't get on camera, people are going to laugh at you, you're not safe, this is all bad. You know, and you have to tell your brain the truth. And the truth is that I know no matter what happens, my family always overcomes. And even if we lose everything, we will rebuild and we will go on and life will continue, right? And sometimes you have to walk through tough seasons of life. And I'm not diminishing anyone's experience if you've ever lost a house. But I'm saying, like, when your brain is running wild, when your brain goes to what if land, does your brain ever do that? What if this bad thing happens? What if that bad thing happens? What if I quit my job and my business isn't profitable? What if I put myself out there and people don't like me? What if I fail in front of everyone, right? When your brain goes to what if land, what if my house is gone, my town is gone? These are two different topics, but you guys get what I'm saying. When your brain goes to what if world, you have to remind yourself, like it's safe for me to take risks because I always overcome. It's safe for me to fail because I always survive, right? These are a lot of my affirmations. I say a lot of affirmations around like, you know, I'm an overcomer. I always overcome. Doesn't matter what happens. Doesn't matter what happens in business. Doesn't matter what happens in hurricanes. I'm an overcomer and I always overcome. And it's safe for me to trust and believe that everything will be okay because I've survived all this other crap in my life, right? And I always get back up. I always make things right. I always find a way to move forward. And you have to be able to tap into that part of your brain that's like, and tell yourself no. When your brain is going on that what if ride, right? I could be sitting here like anxious as heck. My whole family could be sitting here anxious as heck, thinking, you know, this storm could take away everything that we have, right? The houses could be gone, the town could be gone, everything could be flooded. It could be so bad. But that might not happen. And so I don't have time or energy to walk in fear and walk in what if, because I know that no matter what happens, I'm an overcomer. I always overcome. You see what I mean? And you have to be able to do this in business too. When your brain starts telling you, what if this, what if that, what if that, you don't know that that's going to happen. You don't have time or energy to sit there and worry about things that aren't happening. You have to just be able to trust that no matter what happens, you will figure it out. You will figure it out. You're not going to die, right? There's parts of our brain that are like primal, right? That are trying to keep you safe. And that's why fear is so hard for us to overcome, because there's parts of your brain that literally thinks you're unsafe. That's literally like, you might die, right? You're like, run away, don't do that. Like, you're unsafe, you're physically unsafe. And that's why it's so hard for us to overcome fear. But you have to tell your brain, like, no, like, it's actually safe for me to take risks. It's actually safe for me to put myself out there. It's safe for me to fail. It's safe for me, you know, to do things and have it not work out, because I always overcome in the end. I always overcome. And it's safe for you to trust and know, right? I have to be able to shift into that. I always talk about certainty, right? But even with this storm, there's so much that's uncertain, right? Because we don't know where it's going to go. Like, and that's just the truth, right? I was watching the Weather Channel this morning and they're like, if it sounds like we're uncertain, it's because we are. They're like, we don't know where it's going to go. Like, you know, and there's a lot of different factors with like the pressure and stuff. And they're like, this is where we think it will go, but we don't, they're like, you know, we don't know with any kind of certainty where it's going to go or when it's going to turn. And so, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty around that. But I can find certainty, even though this situation is uncertain, I can find certainty in myself because I know things always work out. I know that I always overcome, right? And I can find certainty in myself. We can't have certainty in external things happening, right? I don't get to decide what happens with the storm. I don't get to decide what happens this quarter in my business. I don't get to decide all these external things, but I get to decide certainty in myself. I can decide to be certain. So even though the storm is uncertain, we don't know where it's going to go, we don't know what's going to happen, I can trust and believe that I know I always overcome. I know things always work out in the end. I know, you know, that I will overcome, that I will stand back up, that we will get through this and life will go on, right? And I can have certainty in myself, even walking through this terrible, terrible, uncertain situation, right? And it's a great like mental exercise for myself, which sounds like, you know, kind of nuts, but you guys know I love like personal development. So now it's like anytime I'm in challenging situations like this, where it's like, I can practice certainty and I can practice my mindset. I think it's like a huge blessing, right? It's like, you know, can you go through this stressful experience and choose certainty? Can you choose to trust and know that you will overcome, that we will overcome, that everything will be okay, that I always figure it out, right? That's one of my affirmations. I always figure it out. Like, and that's just the truth, right? There's very few situations when you guys look at your life where you haven't figured it out, where you haven't overcame, where you haven't made things right. Even though it sucked and it was hard and we walked through trauma and difficult times, you figure out how to go on, right? You figure out how to make things right. And so all of this energy we waste just in uncertainty of like, what if this happens? What if the storm comes? What if this bad thing happens? What if that? What if this? It's such a waste of energy. And you can't afford to waste that kind of energy when you're trying to do something as difficult as what we're trying to do, which is build businesses out of nothing, right? And teach ourselves skills that we don't have and learn things that we don't know and teach ourselves. And, you know, you just can't. You just have to decide to be certain. Right? I don't know what's going to happen with the hurricane, but I know I'm an overcomer and I know that I'm choosing certainty in myself because I can be certain that no matter what happens, I will figure it out. That's my hurricane rant. I hope this is helpful. I'm going to go. I think my family is up. I just saw the dogs running around. If you guys want to follow me and see what happens with the storm, I'm at Radical Transformation Project on Instagram. I've just been posting on Instagram a lot lately. I don't know why. It's just like my favorite spot right now. But yeah, we will be fine. And like I said, I'm inland, so oh, I think I cut out. But we're not even boarding up the house here, and they're expecting here, even if it does come on shore, we should be pretty well off here. But you know, you just don't know. So we'll see what happens. I'm trying to get as many people as I can to leave the coast and come here. People hate evacuating, which I just can't stand. I'm like, just leave the house. Like, what are you gonna do there? It's gonna flood and be awful. Like, why do you want to stay there? Okay, I will talk to you guys soon. I hope you guys have a good day.